Guys, it's Superior and welcome to PHP tutorial number 26. Now, this tutorial is one I've tried to record twice so far. First time was about 15 minutes, and the second time was about half an hour. So I'm really trying to cut it down to about the 15-minute mark this time, and get everything right. So really, I'm just gonna get straight into it, and describe everything as, on the fly, basically. So, this tutorial, what we're going to be looking at is, we're going to start looking at MySQL, and how to, eventually we'll get on to how we can integrate MySQL into PHP once we've learned how to use the structured query language that MySQL uses. And for any of those who don't know, MySQL is a database application which allows us to have databases and stuff which store information, and it communicates really well. Lots of PHP functions which communicate with MySQL. It communicates really well with PHP. The two of them work together expertly, so a great combination there. Now, you're going to need to start WAMP server and go to localhost, and on this main page, in WAMP at least anyway, under tools you need to visit PHP MyAdmin, or if you go to the WAMP icon you just click it and left click and click PHP MyAdmin there. Now that's going to start up localhost /PHP MyAdmin, so if you are running WAMP on a different port, you just need to input the port there, like so. And now you have PHP MyAdmin, so I'm just going to close that one. Now, in order to use databases in a PHP script or something, you need to create the database, and then inside the database you need to create the table. So the database doesn't actually store any, well, it does store the information, but it's I'm not sure how to say this. The database stores tables, which inside the tables we store the data. So the databases themselves don't actually store the actual data, they just store tables which hold the data. So, for instance, our database might be a dog kennel or something, and the tables might be I guess that could work. Our database might be the dog species in general, and then the tables might be, we might have a table for the type of, and inside that table we'll have the type of dog and then all its species traits and stuff. And then we might have another table for something else on dogs. So basically what I'm trying to get at is that the database is the big container which sort of encapsulates one big subject. And then we have tables for the smaller subjects. So for this one, what we're going to pretend we're making a database for is a user login database type thing. So I'm going to call this database, doesn't really have to be related to it, so I'm just going to call it data. Try and make it related to it if you can, but if you can't, then that's okay. Now we want to leave all this other stuff the same as it is and just click create, okay? And now we've made our database called data. Now we need to make the table itself. Now tables are a bit more specific, as we said, so we can give it a bit more of a specific name. I'm going to call mine users, okay, because this is going to contain information such as the username, the password, and all that stuff. And now we get onto the number of fields. Now in a database you have fields, or columns if you will, and for each row in the database we have to fill out each column, or we generally have to fill out each column. Maybe some columns we can leave empty. But fields and columns are basically the same thing. And now at this point we need to decide how many fields / columns we want to have. So I'm going to start counting the fields we need. We're going to need one for the username, of course. We're going to need one for the password. We're going to need one for the email. And let's have 2 more for the first name and last name. That's all we're going to store. So in total, that's 5. And we're going to need a 6th. I'll talk about that once we get into it. But for now, type in the name, type in 6 fields if you're following along. Otherwise, come up with your own application that you're going to build and think of the number of fields you can need for that. Then just hit go. Okay. Now, over here, we get what looks like completely wrong. That can't be right. I typed in 6. Okay, we're gonna have to add 4 fields because, well, I am anyway, because this screwed up and only gave me 2 fields to add in. Actually, I'm just gonna delete this table all over and just try it again. Whoops. Let's try making this table again. 6 fields. There we go. Go. There we go. Now it's giving me 6 fields. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Now the first field I'm going to skip out because that's that one that I don't want to mention quite yet. But the second field we decided was going to be username. I'm just going to type in all the names of the fields first. The third was password. 4th email. 5th first underscore name. Generally, you don't want to put space. I don't think you're allowed to have spaces. I'm not entirely sure, but it's best not to put spaces in anyway. It's best to use underscores in place of spaces. Now we have the names of our fields, we need to decide what type the field is going to be. And here I'm just going to quickly cover the basic types. So the first type we have is the int type, which means integer. And if I can just find this, sorry guys, bear with me. Here we go. Okay, I've got my table of types and all their descriptions and stuff. So an int will give you a range of minus, what is it? That's 2 billion to plus 2 billion. So that's quite a big number. And now you'll see, if you just scroll down, we've got tiny ints. We've got all different types of ints. And tiny int is from 0 to 255. Small int is from, tiny int, let me just see, it's from 0 to 255, that's unsigned, by the way. Let me just cover this. Unsigned means, that it cannot be negative, so it would be from 0 to a positive number, as opposed to from minus to whatever. I'm gonna cover the unsigned values, but if you want, you can look up what a small int is and its signed value. It's signed if it's negative and positive. So small int is 0 to 255. That's tiny int. Small int is 0 to 65,500. Medium int is 0 to 16,800,000. And int is, we've already covered. And big int is 0 to 18. And then 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And then 18 numbers after that. So 18 plus 18 numbers. I don't know what number that is. So that's a massive number. Now, that's int. Of course, our username isn't going to be int. But I'm just covering these types now for the moment. So, based on the values I've just given you, you should be able to work out what type of integer your field needs to be. Now, a var character is basically a text or a string type, and it allows us to have from 0 to 65,500 characters. But with a var character, we can also limit the value by, in this section, length/values, we can type in a limit to the number of characters. So if we don't type in anything, it will go from 0 to 65,000, like I said. But we can type in a 100 character limit if we want, so it only goes up to that. Okay. Now, text is not like a var character in that we can, or it is like a var character, and it's not, in that it has maximum length of 65,500. But in a text type, you can't supply a length. So, that's the difference between var character and text.